Good evening, everybody. Welcome to League of Extraordinary Inventors. I'm your host, Mike from Faraday Research. It is Free Energy Friday. It's February 21st, 2025. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hope everybody had a good week.
Yeah, pretty chaotic, but I survived.
Yeah, Canada won in
Yesterday.
yeah. Good old Connor McDavid scored the winning goal.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised Crosby didn't score, but McDavid
Yeah.
took over.
Yeah, everybody, live chat is open. So if you have any questions, comments for the panel, you can do so in the live chat. And we got Philip on, we got Lulu, and we have Mr. Ben on. Little T. I pity the fool. Yeah, it's been an interesting week. I've been doing a little research on the side into graphene. And graphene's a really interesting element that I'm actually using in my power cell technology. And I've kind of dug deeper into it and I wanted to learn how to make graphene. So later on in the show, I'll share there's a couple of methods. One I might actually try because it's very easy to do. Well, not easy, but you need limited amount of equipment to actually pull it off. So yeah, I'll talk about that later. I guess we'll start at the top here. Mr. Phillip, you have any briefing for us today?
Yeah, pretty cool one actually. I was waiting all week long because I figured something in the last weekend, and I had to wait all week long to reveal it. So, présenter, partager l'écran, entire screen. Okay. So here we go. So here we go. You know the Star Trek replicators?
Yep. Yep. Who can forget that? I don't hear any audio.
I don't hear anything.
Yeah, your audio's not turned on. Yeah, I've seen that actually, that commercial a few times.
Yeah.
Drinks to drink and yeah.
So yeah, it's very easy actually to convert energy into materials. The theory behind it is very easy to understand. That's what I'm gonna show you right now. So remember a couple of weeks ago I was talking about the annihilation, which is the a positron and an electron hitting, clashing into each other and converting into a photon. So now it's the opposite process we want to do is to convert a photon into a positron and an electron, or a boson into a fermion, which is mass, which is, according to the mainstream, a photon doesn't have mass, and positron and electron have mass. So the goal is to convert energy into materials. How do we do that? It's already possible by having a gamma ray, clashing a gamma ray into a sheet of foil. Then it's going to create a positron and an electron. But according to my theory, then it's even easier than that. All you have to do is put the gamma ray in a capacitor, in an electric field of a certain amplitude. And because the gamma ray is composed, according to my theory, a gamma ray is a positron and an electron entangled together. So if you put the gamma ray into the capacitor, then the electric field is going to create a force forcing the positron and the electron to take different path because the electric field is differently charged. The positron has a different charge, opposite charge than the electron. So they should diverge in different path. So that's very simple. You put the gamma ray into a capacitor. They should split into positron and electron. And so that's to create an electron and positron. But what if I want to create a proton? Then it's exactly the same thing with quarks. You do exactly the same thing, but you need some sort of quark energy, quark photon. You need to convert to annihilate quarks into energy, and then energy back into quarks, and that should create quarks. And quarks is the core or the core of protons. So there you go. You have protons and electrons. You can build atoms with that, and you can materialize. Matter from energy. So yeah, man. That's the. I finally got it. I should have figured it out before, but it took me some time.
Now the gamma rays, isn't that a little dangerous?
Yeah, but I believe you can go down to X-rays or UV rays and things like that.
Right.
I don't
So
think we really need the gamma rays to do the pair production.
yeah, so yeah, if you were to make a device like that, you would definitely have to put it in a lead case when you're actually doing it because X-rays or gamma rays or any of those emissions, you don't want to be anywhere near that. You have to definitely lead shield it when you do it.
Yeah, I think the lower you go, the stronger the electric field in the capacitor needs to be. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the
Yeah, become the Incredible Hulk. Exactly.
yeah. So yeah,
But
man.
yeah,
That's
yeah, it's a cool concept, man. You've come a long way with it. Now,
yeah.
now, yeah,
Like,
now you got this theory down. I would start trying to come up with an apparatus to actually do it.
yeah. I'm gonna apply for the. Remember the defense conference that I've been at in December?
Right.
They have a space challenge. I'm gonna present that to their challenge. See if I win. If I win, I'm gonna get $50,000. So that's gonna help me build the apparatus. It's not very complicated. All I have to do is to get a capacitor and to test it. I can put a laser on it
Mhm.
and mess around with the amplitude of the electric field in the capacitor. And
Right.
if it works, then the light should split into electrons and positrons. So I should see no light if it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I should see no light going through the capacitor because it's gonna be split into an electron and positron.
Oh my God, Gerald, you're alive.
I want $50,000.
Yeah.
Well, guys, how are you?
Oh my God, it's Gerald.
Holy cow!
It's been a while, eh?
Yeah, man.
It's like
Perfect
a ghost
stranger.
in the machine.
Hey, Mr. Gerald.
The perfect stranger. Well, I
Yeah,
hope things are well. I hope things are better with you, Gerald. I know you had some.
You know what? They are what they are.
Well,
Gotta work
yeah,
like a dog for a while. I'll bark. We'll get it done. You know.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm still doing a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes.
Well, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
You know what? I'm not gonna do small updates. I'm just gonna do a presentation on everything I've been working on. Take about an hour. Not gonna do it today, but we'll have to do it on your channel, right?
Okay.
Get everybody kind of together that wants to get on it and who doesn't.
Tonight, after the show's over, can you stay on for about 10-15 minutes? I'm going to talk to you about a couple of things.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
I got a few things going on too. I should probably mention to you.
Yeah. You levitated the car off the driveway for 10 minutes?
No, not yet. It's too small. I actually have a plan. I don't know if it's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
If my theory's correct and I have the right math, there's a limestone quarry just outside of where I'm living. And there's this huge limestone. It almost looks like a monolith, but it's not. It's a massive brick.
I showed was it last week I showed the video or the week before? These guys in Egypt, what the guy did is had a high voltage static generator, and they put a slab of limestone on it, and he was able to transmit the voltage right through the limestone. Yeah, really cool stuff. Yeah, was it last week or the week before? I think it was 2 weeks ago I showed that video.
Was that the one that looks like the Z? It's got like discs of granite.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That's cool video. I've seen that.
Yeah. So I've been really experimenting in the last little while with a lot of different materials. And actually the last stuff I was actually looking into was the Joe cell.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and how his system works. And there's a couple of guys out there that basically concluded that the Joe cell, the way it was designed, is actually an antenna. So what Joe did, and you either found the important information on the internet or you learned it from Joe himself.
Yeah, I've heard that. Go ahead.
Yeah, he actually tuned it like a radio to the frequency of the engine.
Yeah.
So when you do that, when the water is transmuting into the gas medium that the engine accepts, it has to be in resonant frequency with the engine.
Yeah. Right? But see, here's the other part they don't really mention, and I'm not sure if they know a lot about. Yeah. When they run the Joe cell in an engine, there's a seed in that engine that's helping with the fuel get transmuted, right? So there's oil and there's remnants of gas throughout the whole system. Even if they're not using, like if they're using straight water, there's still remnants within the system that gets activated in that. So it's just something to think about, right?
Yeah. There's always going to be impurities, or like you said, there could be oil residue, but
it helps.
You need the oil in the engine so it doesn't seize up, right?
See, Paul Pantone said he didn't need oil. Not in the engine itself, but he had to put a little bit of oil in the beginning of the system to get it started to lubricate the whole thing.
Like a primer, I guess.
Yeah, like priming it. Yeah.
But some really cool stuff, because I played with the electrolyzer years ago.
Yeah.
And I got really good results with it. A neighbor of mine a few years back, he got really good results with it. He had an Austin Mini, and he took it for an emissions test, and the emissions test came back negative. It was blowing air. It wasn't showing any noxious gases, O2, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide. It wasn't blowing any of that out.
I bet you that made him nervous.
Well, the guy who did the test couldn't believe it. He's like, what the heck did you do to the engine?
Did you guys hear about that South African gentleman Yeah, you guys, you mentioned it the last
The
time, right?
microsonic energy.
Microsonic energy.
Yeah.
You know what that is, right? That's Tesla. He figured out Tesla's secret when it came to the arrow. That's all it is.
Yeah, it's piezoelectrics. That's why he was
That's part of it.
Yeah, piezoelectrics, and also getting into sonic frequency resonance, right?
Yeah, well, he's using radio frequencies as well. So yeah, sonics, ultrasonics. Yeah.
So he's probably tuning into probably the most abundant signal in that area. And my bet is he's probably tapping into the cell phone towers. So they run at 900 to 1200 hertz. So if he gets them in resonance with those two frequencies, he can basically latch onto it, couple with it.
Yeah, but if you get too many people latching on and coupling to that frequency, it will drain their generator on their wattage system. Well, maybe not actually.
No, it won't. It's just coupling to it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
There's no physical connection there.
That's interesting. You know, one thing that they won't, I think one of the reasons why they won't let that out is because that's going to affect AI.
Good.
Yeah, Maxwell Chikumbutso. That's his
name. That's the guy.
Chikumbutso. Yeah, I've watched a few videos. They've been pushing his videos there the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, interesting. So, and did you hear how he tried to get it patented in the States, and they told him no, we can't patent perpetual motion machines.
Yeah,
and he's got the TV working and everything. Like he's got a TV that just powers with the same technology, and it doesn't need to be plugged in or anything.
Yeah, because when he was in the States, he got poisoned.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, they tried to take his life a couple times already.
See, the States does not want to lose control at all. Yeah. I get it. You know what I mean? You had big balls forever and you want to keep them. I get it. But, and you know, being the world's police, okay. But when 90% of the staff is corrupt as a $3 bill, I mean, you really want them to be the police officers of the world? I don't. I'm not harping on anybody in the States. It's more the politicians that are running it. Just like our country. Our country's 10 times worse. Don't kid yourself. Canada, please. China. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's where we live.
The socialist communist.
Yeah. Owned by China. Oh, I could tell you stories that get you in trouble, Mike.
I'm telling you. It's kind of funny. The United States is protecting us from missiles from China and things like that.
Okay, and then Trump wants to take that away?
Yeah, and then Trudeau wants to he opens the back door with China, so he doesn't get it, you know what I mean?
He gets it. He doesn't have a choice. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys a little story, okay? And I can tell you this story because Trudeau's own brother just did an interview, an hour and a half long interview, spewing his guts on how Trudeau in British Columbia in 96 paid a $3 million settlement to a rich family with a 14-year-old girl that was affected in a, what do they call that? An embarrassment, we'll say. Okay? Because I don't want to say the words and trigger anything going on.
Yeah.
So,
gotcha.
So he was involved in this embarrassment. Well, he was also involved in another student that went missing that his brother talked about, but then it got shut up right away. Well, that situation has to do with what I know about Trudeau. Okay, so that woman that went missing, that's connected to that time, and like I said, I'll fucking swear to pardon the language, I'll put my hand on a Bible to this. He's being blackmailed because they have him on video doing something he wasn't supposed to do. And the person that had that video owed a favor and sold it to the triads in British Columbia, who now have passed it on to the CCP, and they own him. They own him.
They got it by the balls.
Yeah, so
he can't do anything.
Let's cut it off right there.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah,
so, like I said, I got stories of getting in trouble.
Yeah, that's for stuff offline.
Yes, right. Sorry.
But yeah, so
crazy world. But
yeah, sorry, Philip. Yeah, let's finish up with Philip. Sorry about that, Philip.
Yeah, right. Didn't mean to cut you off there, Philip.
No, that's fine.
Go off on a tangent. You know what I mean?
Did you get the energy drink?
I don't drink them.
I'm gonna have to ask StreamYard to build what's called the rubber room, and then we can we can shove that person. Yeah, we can put you in the corner. We can put you in the corner, and we'll make it look like rubber.
Like Roger Rabbit when he was bouncing around the screen.
Well, definitely, if we all get to the space station someday, we'll make that rubber room, and we say, you know what? If we have that, Gerald will probably be in there half the time.
You're gonna go to the space station? I'll race you.
Yeah, we'll make that rubber room.
There you go. I'm gonna need it for a nap after. I'm telling you.
Okay, Philip.
But yeah, Gerald, did you see my pitch in the first 10 minutes? You want me to redo it?
It sounds pretty interesting. In fact, I can probably back you up on your theory.
Yeah.
You're talking about using light in order to obtain mass.
Yeah, right? Create matter from light.
There's a little bit more to it, and man, I could blow your fucking mind. But I'll give you an example. Okay, sorry for the swearing. You know what I mean? I'm a sailor, all right? No.
Something lines.
There you go. Nathan did, Sean was doing a presentation on Nathan's channel this week. And he showed, I don't know if it was something in a glass or it was in a vial or a tube or something, but there was a mistake with it.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
and it was green. You remember it turning green?
Yeah.
I messaged in the comments section saying, okay, I need to talk to you about that, Sean. And then we went on to talk about other stuff, and I completely forgot to mention it. That is so freaking important. Remember the rainbow experiment, the Rainbow Bridge, Philadelphia experiment?
Yeah.
Okay, so in the beginning of the Philadelphia experiment, when the generators were first starting to do their thing and turn on and start to multiply the field around it, you want to know what was created that all of the sailors apparently that spoke about it after knew about? Green fog. Why is that? Because oxygen in a high voltage environment turns green. Sean showed it.
It's like the auroras.
Yes, but it's a little different. If you want to open a portal and walk through the Rainbow Bridge, you have to represent all the colors. And green's a very important one. How do you do green when it comes to high voltage burning copper? Well, then it gets what do they call that? Sputtered or spattered onto everything around it. That's not what you want, right? Yeah. But if you have oxygen in the air.
Yeah. Well, then
the only time I've seen green is with what, magnesium? Is that what they put in the flashbangs?
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah, and magnesium, and also what happens too, you're going to be creating orgone or ozone as well, right?
Yes. But if you're splitting the water, now think about this. Just as a mind experiment, okay, a thought experiment. If the Philadelphia experiment was real, from our understanding, they had cables wrapped around the whole hull of the ship because they were trying to degauss it. Well, they had the generators were 90 degrees out of phase for that degaussing. in a sense, right? So they were creating a field one way, and they were creating a field of 90 degrees out of phase, and it was breaking the water. And that's where that green fog started. So remember what I told you about the pond fogger I put in the machine? Green fog is crazy. Don't play with it. Unless you're really willing to like take it to the next.
Now, is it dangerous for your physical well-being?
Yeah, but I'm gonna do it in vacuum, obviously. I mean, not gonna use oxygen.
You know what? I don't know if it'll work in a vacuum, to be honest with you, because of the way that fog has to build up. So the oxygen has to build up, but it has to light through that high voltage, like a cascading event. You can't just slam it. It's almost like a low, slow glow that begins. And then the fog starts to build. It's fucking really wild. Telling you, man. Is it dangerous? I don't know. I guess we'll find out in a few years.
We'll find out if I have a third eye at the end of the year.
Hey, if I go over from something in my lungs because I breathed it in, all you guys would be the first to know. I'll let you know.
Yeah. One thing I've noticed too is, especially the stuff that you're working on, Philip, and even Gerald, the water component and how you're electrolyzing water is actually a very important component that could lead in several different areas. That's why I've been kind of investigating the Joe cell, because with his Joe cell, he was able to tap into this energy source other than hydrogen. Everybody thinks it's hydrogen that's doing the work. It's not. It's not.
No, it's not.
Other component is creating a field energy.
Not okay, and I agree with you, but there's a little more to it than that. It's not actually oxygen and it's not hydrogen. It's the implosive effect of breaking the two molecules apart. That has more energy than burning hydrogen at any time of the week.
It's the separation of the atomic structure.
That was the genius of Stan Meyer. He wasn't burning hydrogen like everybody thought. He was using the breaking, the energy of that molecule going boom. He was using that as the energy to run a system. Like that's why he got everything back in the end.
It's the bonds, right? The bond break.
You're breaking
the coherent bonds.
Yeah.
And he was using the energy of that. That's why he was able to build that water spark plug. Right. That's what actually got him,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. When he built that, that was a death sentence for him.
Yeah. So now there's the other part, right? That makes me like sad for everybody in the States and even everybody in Canada, all over the world, pardon my language, with the stuff we've seen from that gentleman out of South Africa.
Yeah.
Then there's Stan Meyer, and then there's like Dennis Lee and all these other experimenters that came out with energy systems that actually worked. They were suppressed by the previous United States government before this one, right? So all those inventions were either shelved, smashed, destroyed, disappeared. Now what? We all have to play with oil and gas.
Yeah.
It's so archaic. Yeah, it's so archaic technology.
Don't get me wrong, Canada's guilty in that as well. I'm not.
Oh, sure, it's global. I think it's a global suppression.
But it's like me and Ben were discussing this week about extreme greed, capitalism, and things like that. I'm not for that at all because they will. It's like the oil industry. If you go against them, they'll suppress whatever they need to do to keep their lead. And so that I'm against that. I kind of. I'm not saying that Elon Musk is 100% wrong and this or that. I'm for Elon Musk and his effort to debunk the deep state and the swamp, but I know Elon Musk is against open sourcing stuff. And this or that.
I've been working on something Wonder if I should show you a little bit of it.
Show it.
Elon Musk is full of shit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, he really is.
Sorry, Elon. You're
No,
a
he's
genius about putting teams together. You're an amazing guy about making money. When it comes to science, you're full of shit.
I have a question about his
Yeah.
algorithm. Like, does his algorithm, what does it do? Is it something like that identifies or flags like fraud, or like something that does not connect, like, from a particular IP address or a user ID or server? Does it do error codes? Is that how he's like fixing
I'm not going
problems?
to show any more than
I
that.
don't think anybody knows, and that's a real problem too.
You're playing with alternators again?
No,
Can you
No.
show us? Can we see that again, please?
Yeah, it looked like an alternator.
no, this is a motor I've rewired.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Well, what
So-
specifically did you rewire it for?
I know. Are you working on the Lockridge device?
No. That's too easy. I mean, sorry. You can take me off screen because my fat head's not going to show anybody anything. No, I set out to prove something. So, Elon Musk is using induction motors, right? Or
Yeah. He's using AC induction
AC
motors.
induction motors to run a system.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, well, that's awesome. What if there was a way to capture the path of least resistance of inertia inside the flow of the iron inside of a motor in order to give you the ability to pull energy out as the energy is flowing? So I've been messing around with motors in the last little while. What if I said to you there was a way of wiring a motor so that you can have AC going in, pulling DC out, charging your batteries while you're using it? And the more you use it, the more charge goes into your batteries. Like I said, Elon Musk is full of shit.
All right. I got you. I'm following you.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Musk is not a scientist.
No.
Now,
And the
now
torque-
when you're,
Go ahead.
question for you. So when you're channeling the DC out, if you put a load on it, say like a battery to charge.
Say that again.
So when you're taking the DC that you created with the AC motor out of the motor, and you decide to say you're going to charge a battery.
Yep.
Now, does the amount of current that you have to put in AC have to be increased while it's doing this?
No, it's more like, how do I put that?
Is it
So
pulling?
from what I've seen thus far, the AC stays the same. The current in the AC goes down. The torque goes up, and my DC fills the batteries more. The more the load on the battery, the more torque I get on the motor. And the current goes down on the AC, but only very slightly. It doesn't go down very much. Just like
so
it's running at a high efficient rate.
Okay, so when this is happening, what you're saying is it's taking less power to do the job.
Yeah, and you're getting more torque. The more DC I pull out of it, up to a point thus far, because there's a heat factor in there.
Okay.
But the more DC I pull out, the more efficient the motor runs. Like the better torque I get, the current goes down a little bit, and the heat gets drawn away from it.
Interesting. Yeah, I've had.
That's where the DC goes. I turn the heat into DC and I pull it out and I slam it in a load. But I'm slamming it in batteries right now. So
yeah, that's fine.
I have to do a long-term logarithmic testing for it to see how efficient it really, really is. And yeah, I got to calculate all the ohms and stuff.
Interesting. I'll have to investigate that too.
But it's the winding and the way that you wind it on the inside of the motor that makes it
Right. Now that okay,
You know?
here's my next question.
Okay.
Maybe you don't want to tell me now or offline. The AC motor, is it three-phase?
No. Oh, it could be, but it doesn't have to be.
So it could just be two-phase.
Yeah, well, it's bifilar, so would you classify that as three-phase? You know what I mean?
No, it's two-phase.
Okay, but when I was playing with these, I wired a motor that was bifilar, and then I put an extra winding on it at 90 degrees out of phase, so that I had an extra input for capacitance or whatever it is that I wanted to see if I could increase the torque, the inertia, whatever's going on at that moment.
Interesting.
There's some interesting findings in that one. I wouldn't say it's better than the other, but it's interesting. Something we could talk about offline, maybe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do know, the AC voltage, when you convert it or rectify it, it goes to half the voltage of AC.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
because you're combining it, right?
Yeah. So you're tunneling it into a direct current. So 100 volts AC, it translates into 50 volts DC.
Well, this is so from what I'm gathering, this is basically like an AC motor / DC generator at the same time.
So basically you're using an AC power source, but you're actually inverting it at the same time into a DC out.
Oh yeah, I could pull. Well, okay, so yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing, and I could actually. I haven't tried this yet, but pull the AC power from an inverter. Then I'm running off the battery, so it's a closed loop. But because it's from an inverter, it breaks the symmetry. So I may be able to do it. I might not. I don't know yet.
Yeah, there will have to be a capacitance there somewhere.
Yeah, there might have to be.
There'll have to be a buffer
between the AC inverter and the motor.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah. If you have enough capacitance there, it is possible you could loop it right back in.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe I found something like what the African gentleman there found.
Whatever the capacitive value of that is, that'll be pure experimentation to do it.
Yeah. Well, I got that capacitor board from Ian. That thing's just gold, man.
Yeah.
I've been using that every day. Thanks, Ian. Shout out, by the way.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, motors are fun to play with. Motors are really fun to play with.
Did you know that you can run a 220 3-phase AC motor from an alternator because your alternator's 3-phase? You just have to wire it a certain way because you know how you get that what's it called? It's like a phase converter.
Yeah.
The way it's set up. You can run like a larger motor, or you can run a smaller motor off a larger motor. So I can run my alternator off of my 3-phase 220 motor real easy, or I can spin that AC or the alternator like a mofo and get the AC motor to run. Not a lot, like not very well, but it still runs. It was an interesting experiment. I might release it and put it on my channel. I don't know. I've been playing with motors and coils and mixing the two and seeing what happens. And
one thing I did find out with John Hutchison talking about the crystal cells that he was working on.
Yeah,
and I just caught this by chance. I was watching one of his old videos. I think it was done in the mid 90s. He was talking about his crystal cells that he had in those. They were grenade canisters.
I remember those. I remember the video. He was sitting in his yellow kitchen, that ugly kitchen.
Yes. Okay, that's the video. What he said was, which was really interesting. He says you could have a stack of those cells hooked up in parallel and have another stack set up in series. And he says what's unique about these cells is you can combine the series and the parallel batteries as one, and they still work.
I know where you're going with that. I know exactly where you're going with that.
You caught on to it? Yeah.
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 So, hats off, man. Oh, no hair.
Too much high voltage experiments.
Yeah, you know how it is, man. I just had to grab along and it was like, no more.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's unique because you can't do that with regular batteries, because what will happen is the current from the batteries that are hooked up in parallel, when you put it through the series ones that are geared more for voltage, not amperage, you combine the two, and if you got, say, lead acid batteries, you could have some major plate heating issues.
Oh, I never knew that. I've never tried it, but I've never known that.
Yeah, but the big thing is with the crystal cell, you don't have plates like that can heat up. It's a totally different chemistry altogether. That's why he says have one stack of batteries as series connected batteries and the other stack set up as parallel. And then you merge the two together. So one set is creating the voltage and the other set's creating the current.
Would that mean that you wouldn't need a battery at all?
No batteries at all. Oh. It'll be all cells. And that's what I've been working on.
Yeah, we got to talk after.
How many could you do? Like how many? What? Like
it's
one
unlimited.
row, 2 rows?
Unlimited.
Unlimited.
Yeah, unlimited. As much as you want.
Do you know what that means? Did you watch the Plasma Channel's new pulling water out of the desert?
Yeah.
You guys know what he just showed? My mind was blown, and I watched that video. I was dancing out of my seat. I was like, yeah. Okay, so think about a pyramid, right? Mm-hmm. So when a pyramid's doing all of its high voltage thing, what's it doing? There's even stories of a guy building a pyramid in California and it pulling so much water out of the ground that it actually flooded the area. And they didn't know what to do, so they had to build channels and shit like that. Huh. That mind blow. I thought, okay, so maybe the pyramids. What's that?
Terraforming apparatus.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought. It's pulling the water out of the ground. No, it's not. It's pulling the water out of the air from the difference in potential. And oh man.
Not only that water that he's producing is also charged.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It's negatively charged.
Yeah, that's structured water.
What kind of stuff do we work on? Negative energy.
Yeah.
There's a liquid form of negative energy right there.
So is it good to consume structured water? I thought it was the other way around.
No.
Well, we're gonna find out because I'm gonna just right on camera, like I'm doing that experiment.
Yeah. It's very effective, especially if you're, say, like a camper and you're in areas where you can't drink the river water unless you boil the crap out of it.
The minute I seen that video, I designed something. It's this long, and I'll give you guys the plans because everybody should build
it's super
one.
Easy. It's
right.
Super easy
I might actually sell them. You guys should too. I mean, I'm in Canada. Who cares, right? You guys can sell them in the States. Who cares? I'm not going to sue anybody. Make as much money as you can. We're all going to die one day. So it's about this long. What's that?
Yeah, it's all open source anyways.
Exactly. So it's about this long, and it's got a screen on top, and then the high voltage wire that's wound a certain way. And then the screen below that is a teardrop. And this whole thing is sealed. Right? But because it's so long and the high voltage part is short, you turn it on for an hour. It fills cup and a half, we'll say. I don't know. I have to do the experiment. Well, we'll say a cup and a half in an hour. You flip it on its end like this. There's a filter in there. It goes into the bottom container, and it's got a water spout on the bottom.
Yeah.
You got water just all day long for 45 watts.
You can make like the thermos containers.
Yeah.
The apparatus at the top turn it on, it'll drop right into your thermos, and then you got the spout at the bottom, right? And you can carry
but you need an open air, and the more open air you get with high voltage, the more water you're going to pull out too, right?
Exactly. And
that's why I was thinking sideways, but
you could do it that way. But also, if you're in it depends on your geological location. You could be in an area where there's a lot of humidity naturally in the air. Like here in Ontario, there's always humidity in the air. So a machine like this will work great in my area.
See, now think about that. If everybody had one of those, it wouldn't matter if you were in a desert, if you're in a moisturized area, you could get clean water all day long. You just flip it on, collect, drink.
Yeah, it's a life-saving thing. And
absolutely.
All you need is an ion generator. You can buy them on Amazon.
That's what I'm building mine out of. Those little black wheelies.
Yeah.
We all have them. You guys got to do it, man.
I inquired once to a company. They do them for about $24,000, to really make water where you don't need the water company. Enough water.
You can make it for under $50.
Absolutely.
Well, how much water is it going to produce?
Well, I'll put one on the top of your house. Think about the length of your house.
I think he said for every hour it will make 40 milliliters of water. Now, in a life and death situation,
it was less than that. It was 46 milliliters for every 5 minutes.
Oh, 5 minutes. So
that's a liter,
right? So
roughly an hour.
So realistically speaking, if you're in a life or death situation, that will save your life.
Absolutely, it will.
Yeah. I'm thinking more of replacing completely a utility into where it generates water from the atmosphere, and you don't need that utility. And then, but with the free energy, you don't need the electric company. You
can see, and this is what they're worried about. All these devices, little by little, are going to come out. You can make your energy on your own.
Stack them.
You can make your water on your own, and all this. You can live completely off the grid. You wouldn't need any utilities whatsoever. You can live like Little House on the Prairie.
Okay, so you ready for this? You guys know I've been working on this formula for a little while. Mm-hmm. You should never own a house or rent a house that doesn't take care of you. Because now I have the formula.
Yeah.
So you build a grow room with two 1,000 watt HPS lights. Super inefficient bulbs, man. They pump out so much heat. You're like, what am I going to do with all this darn heat, right? You ventilate it into the intake of your furnace. Yep. Kills your heat bill in half.
Yep.
Your hot water.
Yep.
There's pool heating solar kits that you would buy to heat, say, 1,000 gallons of water, right? You don't need that much. You get the smaller kits. You put it on the wall, the inside wall in your grow room.
Yep.
Because there's so much heat in that room.
That's
it preheats the water for your hot water tank. It kills it by 2/3. That kills your bill right there.
Yep.
So then you put solar together on your roof, which runs the two lights. Now you got heating of your house, which kills your bill in half. You have heating of your water, which kills it by 2/3. You're now paying trickle charge. You don't cut them off. You just make your system run more efficient.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Yeah. 100%. Could you cut them off by adding another light and another panel? Absolutely. But that's not what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're paying them still, giving them a little bit, that just means they could take that excess energy and ship it somewhere else and sell it.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah. It's just building a better mousetrap, man. It's building devices that work together.
As long as you're not cutting them all off, right?
Yeah. Do you guys ever think, and no, it's not about the whole idea of doing something against the government, but it's more of innovation. What could you do and how could you do it? Is it possible? Can you create a system that runs on its own? Not necessarily as, we're against, letting others make money, but no, can we make these systems in case, war happens, in case something happens, a meteorite strike, anything, any catastrophe? Can one be self-sufficient as a backup,
100%.
Yeah. So I don't know.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put together. That's why I want to put together this presentation. For the last while that I've been off YouTube, sure, I've been working, doing slaving, and making rent money and stuff. But big deal. I've also been doing all the other work. And I've been building.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, well, I've been building different devices. I haven't just been working on coils. Let's say you can make something float. Let's say you can get to space. Great. Did you think about your food supply, your water, your air, your sewage, your heat, your all of it? Did you think about that? I've been designing that for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
With the formula. What's that?
Yeah, I was just going to kind of add on to this whole thing that it's not a matter of cutting off the electrical company completely.
No.
But even Joel Legacy, he had a couple of devices where he just basically needed a AC plug that pulled out 12 volts DC at like 30 milliamps, just a trickle amount of power.
Yeah.
He was able to load up capacitors using very little current and then converting that energy into a lot more power. And basically all you need is seed voltage. If you can trickle seed voltage from the power grid and that's all you use, you're going to save a ton of money right off your electrical bill right off.
That's one of the base principles of the bigger coils I use. It's just seed voltage. You tickle it, right?
Yep.
You get it going and it keeps spinning and you pull off all the excess.
And that's how the old watt-hour meters, one with the disc in it that used to spin, that's how those worked.
Oh,
120 volts AC at basically less than about a 1 amp. So 120 watts that could power your entire house just by amplifying that seed voltage through very large coils that were at the back of the watt-hour meter.
I can show it to you. It's sitting back there right now. I did the test.
Yeah.
Makes me wonder, man. I did the test. It works. That freaker hums, man. Yep. And then that little aluminum disc starts to go backwards.
Yes.
And then you're generating, and it's like, I got a little freaked out, to be honest with you, because now here's the thing. That means that I don't know how long it would have run. I let it run for 5 minutes and shut it down. Right? I just had a little electric element that I was running from it. 900 watt element.
You power the whole house with that.
Okay, but now think about that for a second. You want to get into the conspiracy part of it. And as a thought experiment, those run every freaking house in Canada. So now were we getting supplied the power, or were we supplying the power?
That's right. It was going because our power grid system, you got every single house, say in Canada, is on these miniature little generators, watt-hour meters on the house. So every single house is all hooked up in series to the entire power grid.
Yeah.
Whatever power is in that power grid actually goes back to the generation station.
Hence the ground.
Hits the ground, goes back to the power station, and then is redistributed out. And as that meter is spinning on your watt-hour meter on the side of the house, that's when they bill you.
Yeah.
It's all a scam.
It is. Totally, 100%.
Yeah.
Look, I don't mind paying my share because I live in a city. We got, all kinds of these things going on. You got roads to fix. You got this. I get it. But when you have to pay 51% of all your wages just for taxes, and then you got to pay another 23% for your hydro, what's left over? Food?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can't even travel anymore. You can't get out of here, you know what I mean?
That's such horse shit.
In the United States, like I was saying, in the United States, it's only $60 to go from San Diego to San Francisco by plane, back and forth. Here's like $300 to go from Montreal to Toronto.
So what's that old song? The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. And it sucks.
You know what? It's to the point now where they're so open with the screw job that people can't do anything about it. They feel like they can't. They know it's
That's what
going
they
on,
think.
but nothing's
There's
ever done.
But there's something going on behind the scenes that's been waiting for a very specific time, such as this. And now that time is coming around, man. Trump knows it.
Yep.
Telling you he knows it, man. He knows because he talked to his uncle, and there's things like I've spoken of in the past that I'm telling you, that he knows a lot more than he's letting on.
Yeah.
I think it's in our community, we pretty well know that half these devices that were suppressed in the last 100 years really could have propelled us way further from where we're at right now. Right now, we're about 120 years behind where we should be.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right?
I agree.
That's the problem. The problem, like I was saying, the main problem is the damn Nobel Prize. It creates
Nobel on the Nobel Prize. That's what I said. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
but it creates a mainstream mentality, and so it's kind of Einstein said something. So if you wanna do better, then you need to have a double thesis. You need to double what Einstein did.
You know what?
You need to add layers on top of layers on top of layers, and after 100 years, it's a big freaking mess, of patches. It's like patches on top of patches, but nobody wants to admit that Einstein was wrong. So it's
The Nobel Prize lost all credibility when they gave it for a freaking computer. Are
you know what?
Serious?
You know what? All science, as far as what we work on, that died when Steinmetz died.
I agree.
When Steinmetz died, electrical engineering and real electrical development died the day he died. So we haven't had
and Tesla too. When he died, it started to. I agree 100%.
Yeah, when those two died, that was it. Electrical engineering ceased. The Einsteinians took over, created the whole new narrative. They infiltrated academia, made academia into basically worthlessness.
Well, with E equals MC squared, you're not going to look for anything else. You're just going to be like, well, we can't do it, man. I mean, the law,
Well,
it's like, come on, experiment, blow some shit up.
Yeah, exactly. No,
you know where their problem was? They kept on thinking horizontally versus vertically.
Right.
That's the they could, they they cared was
they were all working with positive electricity heat. Where we're going exactly the opposite direction. We're going into negative energy.
They know about negative energy, though, Mike. It's just
they know about it. They won't release it.
Well, they won't talk about it. That's the thing, and they'll deny it till they're fucking.
Sure, because you know why? Well, the reason is, and I'll tell you straight up, it's all about the dollar. If this technology came out in academia 120 years ago, guess what? A lot of the funding that they've been able to funnel from the governments.
You mean sucked out of the government?
Sucked out of the government for 120 years. A lot of that research money would have gone bye-bye. And a lot
you know what? I have to agree with Sabina Hosfeld or Hosfeder or whatever her name is. Physics died years ago, and it's just a circle jerk of a bunch of guys promoting each other and women, pardon my expression, promoting each other in order to get a paycheck out of the public.
Exactly. And that's all it is.
And they treat the public like they're freaking morons because they created their own language. But the issue is with that, didn't they try that on an island? What did they call that? The fly with the kids and the thing. You know what I mean? Like, give me a break. You create your own language just in order to keep people in the dark.
It's a religion. It's a religion that has kept everybody in this confined space.
Einstein's their god.
Yeah, it's a cartel to get because innovation goes against getting us in debt. You know, if you innovate, you're gonna improve the economy, you're gonna improve the GDP and so on. But if you don't innovate, we're kind of stuck in a vicious circle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're easier to control and
Guys,
get in debt.
I'm just gonna scoot up for a quick smoke. I'll be right back.
Do your thing. I look at it like this. You're absolutely not wrong. It's not all about control. It's about money. It's about, everybody getting their own sort of thing. I just want the truth. Why not give everybody the opportunity to build it on their own, to work their own systems? Half the people aren't going to want to. They're either lazy or they'd much rather just pay somebody else.
Because they're millions and billions of dollars. If you do it, like it's gonna cost you like a fraction, like 0.00 of a fraction from what they're making. So it becomes their whole funding thing becomes obsolete. Like, oh, if this can be done, then why are we paying that much for it?
Absolutely. I think academia has turned themselves into gods in a sense, or they tried, and they make the public look like they're a bunch of freaking retards. And they want to keep it that way so that the public doesn't understand that their papers don't mean shit. It's the same crap regurgitated in a different way about somebody else's experiment.
Yeah.
Nothing more, right?
So it's like the string theory. Now the author, after 40 years, kind of figure out the string theory is not going anywhere,
Yeah, it's a joke.
40 years, it's like, come on, man.
Yeah. But how much funding did he get for it?
I know.
How much recognition? How many papers? How many people got PhDs based on string theory? You know what I mean? It's a joke. It's all based on a lie.
Yeah.
I have issues with it. I'm not saying education's all wrong. I'm saying it needs to be revamped.
Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of smart people. The prodigies. They get their PhDs when they have 14 years old. They're very smart. Don't get me wrong, but we're wasting all this brain power.
They're being misled or told, no, that doesn't work. You can't do that. Or E equals MC squared is like the golden rule. You can't. The laws of conservation of energy, they can't be broken.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me tell you this. Like, I did math my whole life. I'm really good in math. Yeah. My kids come and ask me, with help on their math homework. And I, look at it and I solve it for them. And they come back and they say, oh, no, our teacher does not like the way you solved it. We should solve it this way. But if I'm solving it and getting them, the answer, they don't want to teach like a method where it explains it like much easier than how they want to teach it to the students,
Yeah.
Like, they don't want them to learn how to learn. They want them to regurgitate things. Nothing more.
Yeah.
That was taught to me by a professor out of the university of where my city's at. He was actually a really good professor. He retired. But he liked to teach people how to learn. He didn't want to teach them how to just spew the crap coming out of the books, right? What good's that? Then if you don't know how to learn and I send you off into the world, what more are you going to do? Nothing. You're going to take what you know and you're going to follow the same line and you're going to trudge it your whole life until you die. Well, what good is that? Aren't we supposed to be creative creatures? Impulsive to a point of like being responsible, but still impulsive in our own creativity. Like, I don't know. I question when it comes to academia and the route that they've taken. It seems like ever since 1951 or even a little bit before that, when the so-called physicists and geniuses of the world figured out all the high-end physics of the word we don't want to use here, right? You know what I mean? The N-word power kind of thing word.
Yeah.
When they figured all that out, they locked down science. That was it. They were done.
Yeah.
they didn't want anybody else playing with anything else. They just started saying the same crap, spewing it over and over again. Oh, well, we figured all that out. We figured all that. No, we're building a machine. Oh, it takes $100 billion, but don't worry, we're going to find a new particle. Oh, no, you can't see it. You got to have $100 billion machine to see it. But it's there. Don't worry. Take our word for it. We never lie.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm sorry, but I'm tainted when it comes to that. Not because I'm this big conspiracy theorist, because I've done the experiments. I built stuff that shouldn't work according to the physics. But if I listened to the physics, I never would have built it. So
I know.
Well, I have a question. What are you gonna do? Like, just hypothetically, what happens to the masses? Like, okay, there's a select few that really understand like how it works, you know, and there's some that just like don't care beyond a point, you know.
Yeah, I get that.
And so, what do you do with these people that don't care? You know, like they just want to learn the basics and that's it. I mean, you understand? Like, I don't think academia is wrong for the masses, you know, because a lot of people don't want to go into depth. They don't want to go into, you know, advanced sciences. They don't want to go into particle physics. They don't want, you know, they don't understand.
There's just 1% of the population that does things like that. The rest, 99%, are doing what you just said.
Yeah,
I know what you mean by that. That's a good point. So,
like, I think you identify yourselves, like Gerald, Phil, Mike, Ben, you know, like all of us already, you know, we've like the people know, you know, like what we know. You understand? Like, if you have noticed that even in your search engines, things come up in correlation to the topic as you know, new discoveries. So it makes you think, like, you know, there is something watching and it's pulling different kind of data and putting it in your you know, in your way because you're interested in a particular topic, you know.
But it's an algorithm, right?
Yeah.
Hey, crypto.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
it's an algorithm. So
yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
It's techno-communism.
Yeah, you can say that.
We'll call it techno-feudalism.
Feudal meaning it's futile to even try.
Techno-feudalism, basically, where one person is the king of their own like kingdom, like how Elon Musk is kingdom of or is king over his Twitter.
So I'm techno-feudalism because I'm like a legend in my own mind. I'm kidding, dude.
He's basically the arbiter of what can and can't be said on that platform. He makes the final decisions. It's a feudalist kind of economy.
I get it, but it's his platform. It'd be like, you know, you come into my house for a party and then, you know, you spewing, I don't know, saying you didn't like me because my girlfriend or something, and you're telling everybody at the party, I'm going to ask you to leave. It's my party, right? You know what I mean?
Right, but that's just how we would describe the economic system of Twitter, basically, as opposed to a more communistic way of forming the company would be if it would be a worker cooperative where the workers would own the means of production. That would be more of a communistic form of company.
I don't know. I'm not allowed on any of those platforms. The powers that ought not be haven't released that. I keep trying. I don't know. They don't want me to interact with the public, I guess.
I quit Twitter a long time ago because people on the left were being censored.
Yeah.
Well, it was the same. What was the author of the guy who wrote Twitter? He was leftist and he was banning right wing peoples. Now it's the opposite. So it's all about politics. It's like,
Yeah,
it's like
whatever
judges.
your political bend is, whoever
But
the
see,
arbiter is of the
eventually,
platform. Like
but
Mark
eventually,
Zuckerberg and Facebook, it was more left leaning.
Yeah, exactly. And now
that's
that
just the point,
Trump
though.
is leading, now he changed his mind. The fact checkers they were banning. I got banned a couple of times, especially in 2020 when I was against the COVID thing, and I was just started connecting on Telegram for the all the underground news I was posting. Underground
Cracked
news
down
about
hard on
Hunter
that.
Biden.
Yeah, they
Uh,
cracked down hard on that on Facebook. And when they first started cracking down on it, the bot was terrible at picking stuff up. So always pick up stuff that was like inappropriately flagged. Like like you would get flagged for something that wasn't,
Yeah, it only
considered wrong.
followed keywords. That's why.
yeah,
Yeah, like it didn't understand the context. So you would get flagged and you'd be like, what the hell?
yeah, I know.
See, generally throughout time, it would go left, and then it would lean right, and then it should balance in the middle eventually.
But the
We don't
problem
Yeah,
get
we should have a healthy dose of both, all across the political spectrum,
I listen to the left. I don't agree with 90% of the stuff they say. I listen to it though, just like they should listen to me.
But
I'm not all right, but
the problem with the capitalist system is good. It's good because the kids playing games, they help improve the GPUs and the graphics boards and all that. It's good.
Yeah,
But
the technological innovation is
yeah, but
definitely something that we saw.
AI is though.
the problem with the capitalist system is if there's a monopoly like Microsoft or the pharmaceutical or the oil industry, then they're gonna start killing people to maintain their power.
Well, for one man to be rich, many must be poor. That's a fact.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why there are monopoly rules, but they're not applied. What did we do against the pharmaceutical that forced most of us to get vaccinated? We didn't do
What was it
anything.
they did in France when they took all of their money and that Maria went, let them eat cake? Didn't they like entrail them or something like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you guys know what entrailing is?
Not really.
Say it, Mike?
Okay.
So this is back in history. This is history.
Mary Antoinette.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
I believe it was her husband that they did it to, and it's this graphic. So if you have any children, take them out of the room. What they did is they hung him over out of the window. I think it was 2 or 3 stories up, but they had cut his stomach open, pulled his intestines out, and tied like a rock around it, and just let it slowly reach the ground. It's called entrailing.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's brutal.
That's from France. That's what the people did to their king and queen, and back in the day when there was a revolt. We don't want a revolt. We want to vote, not a revolt.
Yeah.
Just being clear. Get that clear.
Yeah, but that's all I want to say. That the capitalist system is okay, but it's not okay when there's a monopoly in charge and things like that. That's all I want to say. And you need open source too.
It's healthy to some degree. It's healthy. I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah. And we need open source. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm sharing my whatever I found during the week for free. Because I want things to move forward. I'm tired of being stuck in the same vicious circle.
Yeah.
And I think our economy could do with a healthy dose of both, capitalist organized businesses and worker cooperatives, where the workers, own the means of production and they get to decide. So it would balance off, the power dynamic a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
and the same thing with Linux. Linux forces Windows to improve. If it wasn't from Linux, then we would still be using Windows 3.1,
Ubuntu.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to release 90% of my stuff for open source. The motor, all the other stuff I've been building, but the coils, half of them I'll release all the tutorials and everything. Some of them I have to be responsible with and can't, just for safety purposes.
Yeah.
Right. Like I got to be responsible. I'm not trying to hurt anyone, right?
Yeah. One thing I wanted to share tonight, we were talking about it before the show, methods of creating graphene. And the one easy one that I'm going to actually try is you get a flask. It'll be half acetone, half deionized water, and about 2 scoops of pure graphite into the bottom of the thing. And then you put it in the ultrasonic bath for about 24 hours. You get graphene.
Get out of here. Really?
Yeah.
I got one of the strongest ultrasonic baths you can buy.
Okay. So what you do is you buy the pure graphite. Get the
I got 305 graphite or whatever it is.
305 or 600. If you get 600, even better.
Okay.
Then you put that in the jar with half acetone and half deionized water. Put it in the ultrasonic cleaner for about 24 hours.
I like
Yeah,
it.
mine's a genius.
Do you cap it?
What's that?
Do you cap the tube?
What do you mean? Sorry.
You're gonna put it in the little, like, you're talking about, like that little thing that vibrates where, like,
the ultrasonic cleaner. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The ball bath?
Like the one they use for jewelry, right? That
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. You can buy bigger ones. So you can buy bigger ones.
Yeah, I got a big one. It's made for car parts.
So you're gonna get the tube. You're gonna put acetone. Then you're gonna put deionized water.
Yeah, and then a couple of scoops of graphite in there.
Okay, either 300 and something.
I recommend 600 mesh.
Yeah, it's 300 is all I have, but
you could do it. You could do it. It would take you longer to break down.
At the end?
Don't need to cap it. Nope, you don't have to cap it. Nope, just put it in, turn it on, and let it go for about 24 hours.
So you're gonna come out with a slurry that's graphene.
Graphene, because what the ultrasound does, the graphite, just picture my 2 hands. What it's going to do, the ultrasonic will actually start peeling the layer off by layer.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And then
I know exactly what you're talking about.
And then after that, you're going to have to put it through several filters so you get all the acetone out, what's left in the deionized water, till you get a sludge. And that sludge is pure graphene. Now you can paint that on surfaces and have a pliable, put it on plastic or put it on paper or whatever, and you got a conductive layer of graphene.
I like it.
Or even better, you can put it into an airbrush and you can airbrush your surfaces to like nanometers.
Really?
Within
I've been wanting to do that with something else. I'm going to talk to you later.
Yeah,
that's airbrushing.
Can you make like paint circuitry with that? Can you paint?
Okay. Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I was told something a long time ago before anybody came up with the whole aluminum bismuth thing that you can build up a skin in layers, and it would come out like paint. So you'd paint layers.
Yeah.
But what you use in those layers will define how you can resonate that skin.
That's right. Yep.
Something I want to try. Always wanted to try.
Yeah. So now that you can make graphene fairly easy at home, just all you need is an ultrasonic cleaner, some acetone, and some deionized water, and a couple of scoops of graphite. So even though that you do it, say, for 24 hours, say you want it even better, put it on for another 24 hours. It'll just make that separation of graphite even more.
Sorry.
Yeah. But at that point, you will have such a good conductivity. The cells that I've been working on, guess what my internal resistance of my cells are?
No clue.
Less than 1 ohm. So So basically, when I do current measurements on my cells, I use the mathematical Ohm's law. So I take the resistance, whatever the resistance is, times that by the voltage, it gives you your amps.
Okay, so is that the voltage that you're seeing in the
my pulses, right? So when I put it up, right, I got less than 1 ohm resistance.
Yeah,
my cells are pulsing. The highest pulse that I got was 137 amps off the charts.
Okay, so I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't believe, because I took Ohm's law and applied it to some of the coils, and because I got an LC meter and I was doing all kinds of measurements, and I didn't believe what I saw. But you can kind of help me with this. So at 0.000 ohms and 600 volts coming out, according to what I got there, it's like 50,000 watts or some crazy number or something like that. Wow. I could actually do the math.
Yeah. Like my cells, when I hook it, I do the, my readings on the cells, I'm averaging 15 to 20 amps per pulse.
Okay, so I got 608 volts on one coil that was okay, so what you got to divide it by the ohms in the coil, right?
Whatever the resistance is times that by the voltage.
Okay, so 0.03.
Yeah.
And according to this, I had 20,000 amps in there.
Yeah. That's off the charts.
Is it divided or multiplied?
Multiplied.
Multiplied?
Yeah.
So wait. So
your resistance, right? You take your resistance and your voltage. So whatever your resistance is, so sake of argument, say it's 1, right? 1 ohm. If you have 160, so 1 times 1.6, that's 1.6 amps.
Okay. So I had 603 volts, and the coil's resistance is 0.03.
0.03. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me work this out. 600 volts.
Yeah. See if you're getting the same number I am. I got 20,100.
So 600 volts, and you times that by 0.3 ohms, it's 18 amps.
No, 0.03 ohms.
Yeah, 0.03 ohms times 600 is 18 amps.
Oh, it's times. That's where I'm getting it wrong there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good to know.
Yeah, but still, so 600 volts times 18 amps is how much? So.
Oh, yeah, I never thought of that, right?
Times 600 volts times 18 amps. That's 10,800 watts. That's
okay, so how do I calculate something that has 0 ohms resistance in it?
How do you calculate it? Well, you take your ohm meter, right?
Yeah.
So when I do between my anode and cathode, I'm getting beeping. I'm not getting a reading on the ohms.
Yeah, I get beeping in all zeros.
Yeah, exactly. So for a reading, because according to Ohm's law, that's basically impossible. That's superconductor.
Yeah.
You've got a superconductor.
Yeah.
So what I'm showing with my cells is I got a superconductor battery because there is no resistance.
So I don't doubt it at all, Mike. I don't doubt it at all. You're the chemistry guy.
So it all has to do with the grade of graphite that you're using and what you're using for your anode and cathode. If you got like almost 0 resistance in your battery, okay, whatever the battery voltage is, that's what the amps are. Right? Okay. So now all you have to do is set up a whole whack of those same batteries in series. So say you got 25 volts, you got 25 amps. Right?
I get that. I totally get that.
Yeah.
I don't get how.
So say you got 25 volts and times that by 25 amps, that's 625 watts.
And that's at 0 ohms?
That's at 0 ohms.
Damn.
Yeah.
So I was pulling like 590 volts out of that coil that has 0 ohms.
Well, basically what you're looking at is basically over unity. It's surge power, exactly what John said. It's surge power. So every time I pulse my cell, I'm getting these bursts of 15, 16 amps at a time. So I did an experiment the other day with this capacitor bank. Hold on. Can you see it?
Yeah.
It's 16 volts at 500 farad.
Nice.
I can charge.
Can you hold that a little bit closer to the camera? Oh.
Hey, you just disappeared. There it is.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, cool.
You get them on Amazon. So it's 16 volts at 500 farad. I can charge this up with those cells because I'm pulsing such a high current into it.
Yeah, I filled a 75 volt 10,000 UF capacitor today like that. Mm-hmm. And that was on the back end of my circuit of a little coil I was testing.
Yeah.
Crazy. So isn't it for every 30 microfarad it's an amp? Isn't that how?
Well, a capacitor will do 100% discharge in 1 second. So
yeah, which is
that it's just pure 100% out. It's out. So say you had 120 volts in a cap, and you discharge it right away, you could weld with it.
Yeah.
You got 100% high voltage coming
Absolutely.
in, a lot of current, and you got a lot of current behind it. So that's why super caps can be lethal if you're not careful.
Regular caps can be lethal. Shit.
Sure.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because second you basically close the circuit, boom, you got power right there.
Yeah.
What about the electric welders, the little ones? Like they sell them on Amazon.
Yeah.
Like
they load up.
Okay.
Yeah, it works on the same principle as releasing a lot of voltage, basically closing the circuit of a large capacitor bank, and all that energy stored up in the caps are going to get released instantaneously.
I tried that Gerard Morin generator going to a microwave transformer, and it didn't weld. I don't know if I'm missing something or not. There was no capacitors in it. It was directly from the Gerard Morin washer pump to the high voltage side, step down to the low voltage.
Yeah, you got to put in capacitors. That's the only way you're going to get the current. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll try that.
Just a complete cap dump.
That's the way you're cap dumping through the transformer, through the microwave transformer.
Yeah. So
makes sense.
But be very careful with.
What is the difference between a cell and a battery? I'm not.
The cell makes a battery. So several cells stacked up make a battery.
Okay.
Got it? So say like a lead acid car battery that you have, it has about 12 cells inside that make that one battery.
Okay. So it's a unit of measurements to equal something called okay, got it.
Yeah. More plates you have, that basically classifies each as a cell. All together as one, that's a battery. Yeah. So I'm creating individual cells, stacking them into a battery. So because the materials that I'm using, I basically got literally 0 ohms resistance. Whatever voltage I'm done with in the end, that's what your amps are. Which is in battery tech, that's kind of unheard of, right? It can be done, but the internal resistance of most batteries are quite a bit higher than what I'm getting.
Yeah, that's pretty remarkable.
Mm-hmm. And it's because most of the technology I work with is all pulsed energy. That's how we use these power cells is pulsed. You're punching it, right?
Yeah, that's just how we roll.
Yep. That's the most efficient way of running.
Phil looked like he was falling asleep. I had to wake him up. Sorry.
Yeah. But yeah, it's
I need some coffee
it's
myself.
coming along. Yeah, I gotta watch how much sugar I take right now. I gotta go for a blood test in the morning. So,
oh boy, I hate those.
Yeah, I'm due for a physical, right? So
you gotta fast all night. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna get it done first thing in the morning at 7. So I'm not eating anything anymore until I.
Then go for a big breakfast after.
Oh, that's nice.
What I do, yeah.
Yeah, I want to be there at 7 a.m. sharp, get it done, then I could come home and pig out.
Absolutely. I have my pyramid's almost done and I ran out of sodium silicate. I have to order more.
Yeah.
To finish the blocks.
Oh, you're making pyramids?
I'm making a geopolymer pyramid that once I turn on, my theory is correct. The bricks are going to go and then it's going to start operating. Remember what we said about high voltage and water. What if the pyramids were designed partially to pull the water out of the air in that desert and then it would literally fill up the aquifer below it, and as it was filling up, it's hitting and it's making the River Nile. Maybe that's why the River Nile was in front of the pyramid.
Gerald, be honest. You're building a pyramid, aren't you?
I am.
I knew it. His house is just slowly turning into a giant pyramid generator.
I could just see Gerald's wife in the backyard looking at him going,
oh, man, the looks I get now is just insane. I'm telling you. She even seen it. She's like, oh, I don't want to know.
What are you doing now?
I'm going to put it on top of the roof.
Yeah, really. I don't make it look
kidding,
too
but yeah, just a little. When my backyard starts flooding, I'll know.
Yeah, he's like the Griswolds.
Christmas lights and shit going on everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. So it's funny. All this tech is kind of like, all the different areas. They all seem to be merging, right?
Okay. I wanted to say something about that. Why do you think that is?
All the tech is merging.
It's all based on the same principles.
It is. You're absolutely right. But why is it now, this time in history, that all the scientists are starting to figure it out? That everybody
can't hide it no more. People like us are coming out.
Yeah, the bullshit. People are tired of the bullshit, and so people are taking. We do with the open source development movement. We're just taking risks and we're discovering new stuff.
It's almost like a pressure, like something, like everybody can feel it and everybody knows. Yeah. It's like something's about to happen. Somebody's pulling everything out of the freaking bag.
Yeah.
Trying to get it going because we don't know what's going to occur after. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. There's some crazy stuff that's been predicted, man. I hope none of it comes true.
I think it's like what is it? Lejuk says it's like a consciousness thing that's everybody's common understanding all together. Like we're starting to figure it out together. There's so many people working on this stuff.
The core of the Earth deformed too, eh? Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah, well, magnetic north has moved.
Yeah, and the New Madrid woke up. It's been popping off like no tomorrow when it comes to earthquakes. Cali just had one today. So did
Alberta, Vancouver. Yeah,
had a 5.1. Yeah.
Yeah.
So things are heating up, right? And then you guys know about Stromboli and what's going on in Italy?
I heard something about it briefly.
That sucker's getting ready to go. And if it pops off, it's going to take out Rome. If it does, I'm going to make a prediction right now. We're getting into the woo, people, okay? Don't take me seriously. So my prediction is, if Rome goes, they're going to pull digital ID out for the whole world.
Digital ID, yeah, they're already in the process for that.
Well, see, here's the thing. They've been working on the process for a long time, but they have no reason to pull it out, except for if Rome goes, everybody's going to finally understand that your social security number and Canada's social insurance number are all directly held in the Vatican, in Rome.
Oh,
Why?
yeah?
Because they control the identity of every man, woman, and child on the planet. Nobody wants to believe that. They think it resides in their own government. It doesn't. I don't have a number classified at the Vatican. That's why I've had a hard time getting certain things in life, because they don't want me to have it. I'm a sovereign citizen. Not by wanting to be. My grandma screwed that up. But hey, whatever, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
What's coming, and I hope it doesn't come. I really do. Conspiracy, we're in the woo, okay? It's all bull. If it comes, you guys got to come up to Canada and people in the States, and we'll do what we can to help you. Because I'm telling you, shit's going to get crazy.
Gerald, do you want a crazy idea?
Yeah, I want some more woo.
All right, listen to this. You're a sovereign citizen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so a sovereign citizen has the right to claim unclaimed land and create a country. Okay?
Yep.
There is an unclaimed region in Africa. It overlooks. It's like it's a dead zone. No country wants it because there's a dispute, so it's unclaimed. Nobody wants to put their name on it.
Yep.
There's a history to it. This area is rock formations. We don't know what kind of rock formations, but could be quartz. It could be like, you don't know what's underneath this land. Okay.
I got you.
By UN law, if we claim the land, we submit for that. We have to get aid from other countries because we're a minority country. So they will give us money to extract the minerals off of this section that they don't want. And we have pretty much everything, like, you understand, like
I do.
the power that you have when you're a sovereign citizen, and then you can hire your friends, and, yeah, and so forth.
But the problem is you actually have to apply at the UN and go through all that fandangle to get her done.
Let's go to I want to move to the Gerald's Nation.
There you go.
Gerald Nation. Yeah.
Gerald's Nation. Yeah. I was thinking of calling it something else, but no, we'll go with that one. Yeah.
Gerald's Funland.
That's right. Water slides everywhere.
Yeah.
Love to build a floating water slide.
Gerald's Canada's Wonderland.
They were going to build a really big water park in Manitoba a year or two ago, maybe a little longer. They kiboshed it. We need a Wonderland in Canada, not in Toronto, not in BC, somewhere.
We have one here,
or in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, we have a Wonderland here in Toronto. So,
yeah, I know. I've heard about it. Never been there.
Yeah, I've been there many times.
Not I. Actually, Canada's the only place I could still travel. So,
You're on a no fly list.
well, you got no ID, you cross the border and you get caught over there, right?
Yeah.
Then what?
Illegal alien.
Yeah, and I don't want that hassle. They don't want that hassle either.
Yeah, Trump will send you out.
Yeah. No, I don't think Trump would like me.
Okay. Going back to science, what's a Josephson junction?
It's like when an electron tunnels through a barrier of my brain just farted. I'm absolutely sorry, but it's basically a tunneling of an electron through a
yeah,
barrier.
You're talking about quantum tunneling.
Yeah, Josephson junction.
Yeah, quantum tunneling. So what basically happens is the electron goes through a barrier, but there's no means of it to actually get from point A to point B. But for some reason, that electron can get through that barrier.
Kind of like when my pickup coils pick up energy on the outside of the coil, and that's not supposed to be
right
like that. So that would be considered a form of Josephson.
I don't think that's probabilistic. I think that's 100% predictable, and it depends on the phase of the electron or something like that. If the phase is at a certain state, and then the wall is at the other state, then the
oh yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
So
yeah, like there's
you predict it to the phase shift itself, kind of.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, I get that. But it would still be considered a Josephson junction.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it's not probabilistic. All that stuff is predictable. I wrote a simulator to simulate quarks and everything, and electrons around an atom, and you don't need probabilities. Everything is perfectly predictable. So for that, I am for Einstein. Einstein didn't like the probabilities of quantum physics. So I'm on Einstein's side for that, but everything is predictable.
I'm on his side for potatoes. I like French fries. He was a potato farmer, so what was he? What was he you were gonna say, Lulu? I'm sorry.
Stop talking about that. I'm hungry now. I just ate and I'm so hungry.
You need a poutine. That's
exactly.
Yeah. But if you look at quantum tunneling, that is 0 point energy because the electron has no means of being propelled through that medium, but it does.
But that's because the energy it's like a photon is being converted into kinetic energy.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
now, where is that energy coming from? So
from the electric field.
Right. Electric field, or it could be from the 0 point fluctuation, that pressure, the same thing you would get in the Casimir effect, right?
Yep.
So you got
the Casimir effect would bring the pressure, but yeah,
that's right. So the Casimir effect is applying pressure on that electron, and it actually gives it enough pressure that it can make it through that median where you would think it couldn't get through, but it does. So
I'm going to clarify something for everybody, including the PhDs out there that don't believe me. The ether itself is not plasma. Plasma is just a vehicle. Ether is in between the plasma. So it'd be like copper, then you get your plasmatic skin effect form around the copper. Then you get your ether. Then you get your skin effect plasmatic form around the other copper. So it's like a sound.
Yeah. It's a layer of virtual particles.
And you need the two to make the one happen. You cannot have ether without two forms of plasma surrounding it. How do you contain it?
Do you want to go deeper into that thought? Like, what about DNA strands? what there, nothing connects them. It's empty space.
I've stayed away from DNA for a very specific reason, Lulo, but you're very smart. I like how you picked up on that. There's a very specific form of a vortex that could recombinate your DNA, and I'll leave it at that. It's just woo speculation. Nobody can do stuff like that. What do you mean? You know, just saying that for the sake of the channel. But do you know what I mean by that? Because if you think of the way that a DNA strand is, it's a form of stairs.
Right. And
there's
always a twist.
Yeah. And other people talk about a third strand of DNA. Are you sure it's a third strand of DNA? Or is it just some form of a structural mechanism of ether holding your DNA together? But that's speculation. Like, you know, saying. I don't know. I guess the future will tell, right?
Yeah. Well, all this stuff is coming out. People are figuring it out. You know, well, I think everybody has lost confidence.
I think it's because there's a big. I think it's because our planet's about to shift. We all feel it. We all know it. We don't want to say it. We don't want to admit it to ourselves. But we're going to go through it.
The elites are not going to be able to withhold the bullshit for too long anymore. Things are going to shift.
They won't be able to. They won't be able to at all. But there's so much more that they keep from the public and everybody. Like the reason why gold is so sought after and why it's so expensive has nothing to do with monetary value. Gold is the thing that allows your bloodstream to become superconductive through turning it into mifkit, mana, white powder, philosopher's stone, call it what you will. There's a certain mixture between gold, silver, and another part that when you put it together in monatomic elements becomes mana. And what did the Israelites live on for 40 years in the desert? Mana. They had no food other than the sheep and stuff that they had. You're not going to live on just meat alone, not for 40 years. So, I don't know, man. It's interesting.
Do you think that the desert had gold? And so when they, the caravans, let's say, moved, the dust went up and, because you're saying monatomic gold. Or when sandstorms happen,
Remember in the Old Testament, it's written that when Moses came down off the mountain from getting the 10 Commandments, all the people had made a golden calf. So what did he do? He broke it apart and he fed it to them. It's written that he fed it to them. But everybody thinks, oh, that's a misprint or something. No. He turned it into monatomic gold, to mana, and he fed it to the Israelites. Remember, he was a high priest. He was taught under the Pharaoh himself. And the Pharaoh was part of the king's list. How long did he live? 10,000 years, 20,000 years? Eating what? Mifkit. And how did he know about Mifkit? Well, it was passed on from his father, who was Pharaoh. And because Moses was supposed to be in that bloodline, he was taught everything. Just saying, gold, there's a lot more to it than they want us to know. Crypto plays with that stuff. I don't think he's at the stage where we're talking Mifkit and mana, but it's an interesting concept on how it's a high energy particle that allows your body to withstand nutrients at almost an NuClear level. I don't want to say it, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's incredibly insane and awesome at the same time. So crypto, hurry up, make it.
Yeah.
That theory complements a lot of ancient stories that, Nibiru, and they needed monatomic gold to fix their atmosphere and stuff like that. Like, the ancient Druids. So it kind of, it makes sense,
Yeah, their atmosphere of what planet? Mars?
Whatever, whatever they want to call it. But there's some truth to that,
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. The gold is a very specific thing. I think that's how our DNA was manipulated. Mankind stopped eating mifkit and manna, and we weren't able to transcend the time displacement that they were able to transcend. Therefore, we started reducing in years of life. Like Moses lived to 975 years. And then there was one after that. His son, I think Shem, was like 600 years. And then Shem's son was like 450. We got down to the reduction where we are now, which is like 120 years. Right. So what if there was a way for that to change? Just saying. It's an interesting concept, right? If you couple the pyramids ability to produce water or pull water out of the air in the desert, and it's structured negative, and it's literally creating the River Nile right in front of it, and that's negatively structured water, all the food around there would grow 3 times as fast. The water you drank would complement the mifkit you ate, and the time dilation created by the pyramids would give you the ability to pause aging. Just a theory. Take it with a cup of salt or a whole truck, whatever. You know, I'm just saying from my
a lot of connections, a lot of interesting connections, and all the stuff we work on. All stems back to negative energy.
Yep.
But what you call negative energy? Is it what Nathan calls hot and cold energies? Is
Right. It's all cold. It's all cold.
Sort of. Yeah, it's cold energy. Okay. You could equate hot energy with magnetic and cold energy with just strictly potentials. But that's just the thing. That's what I work with, is strictly potentials. I create current by the flow of all the different potentials in the system itself, right? Anybody can do it. That's why I think Don Smith was using a neon sign transformer. It was like 6,000 volts. That's an amazing amount of potential. All he's got to do is transfer that through a capacitor bank and pull the energy out of that.
Yeah.
Laughing.
Yeah.
It would make
all the same principle. What's that?
It would make sense that the pyramids had the limestone casing, and
that's your capacitor. That's your capacitor.
So if the pyramid vibrated from the inside, that would create a resonance on the limestone with the atmosphere, could create the water, and then it cascades down, creating
absolutely.
It's also the water hammer.
Back to the pyramid and so forth.
Yeah, it's dynamic. The whole system runs itself.
Yeah.
It's a water hammer.
Once it started. Yeah, it's also a water hammer. Because that water coming down on the inside, hitting that big piezoelectric crystal that's in the aquifer, it's creating thousands of volts, right?
Yep.
Amazing. It's amazing. When this thing's done, if it operates the way I believe it is, I'll show you guys 100%.
Yeah.
And it's just like the Pyramid of Giza. That's what it's structured after. And the theory that I have that goes along with it. So we'll see. Who knows? Maybe I'll get shut in the ass. Oh, maybe not. Hopefully not, anyway.
Hey, before the show ends, remember earlier this month I was challenging all the PhDs and everything to come to your show, and let's debate, let's do a face-off. And you remember I said that?
Yeah.
I know they're watching, so, but I haven't seen anybody yet. They all scared. They all chicken.
They don't want to debate somebody like me or even you guys, because if in their mind we pulled a rabbit out of the hat and made them look stupid even once, their egos would crumble and they'd go to the war and cry. Woo! My PhD! Give me a break, man. I'm so sick of hearing that.
I know.
I don't tout stuff that I did in the past over people's heads. You know what I mean? There's so many things I could. it's just not right to do that. So why would you be like, well, why would you listen to that guy? He doesn't have a PhD. Well, I got an MP3, right? Isn't that good enough?
MP3.
I don't know. All these PhDs, they're funny. Without them, I'd have nobody to make fun of. And I do it in kind jest. There's no hatred. You know what I mean?
Yeah, all it is just like the pharma or the energy company, all they're doing is this research that's basically a cat chasing its tail and never being able to catch the tail.
It's just to drain the public out of its money.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's an institution.
Yeah, that's all it is. I don't want to step on pharmaceuticals balls, but man, the stuff that's out there.
That's interesting what you said, talking about balls. It's interesting what you said about Justin Trudeau earlier.
Yeah, he's got none. I mean, he's a soy boy. I mean, Justina. We're talking about Justina here. Come on.
Trudeau Castro.
Yeah. That's how I spell his name. True, True, Dough, Dough. For his metabolism.
Yeah. Justin Castro.
Justina Castro. That's awesome.
Justina Castro.
The crime minister himself.
The crime minister. There we
go. Right? Oh, shit. It's funny.
Well, we're at the top of the hour. I would do overtime, but I have to be up early tomorrow. I have to go get some blood work done. But anyways, great conversation. Chat was awesome. Thanks, chat, for all your messages tonight. That was awesome. And we go live to air again next Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to check out Ben's channel. Don't forget to check out Philip's channel. And, of course, myself at Faraday Research. Got all the videos, got the member section. I got my Patreon. I got a PayPal donate if you like what we're doing. Help support the channel. And, we'll be bringing great shows like this for a long time. And thanks, Lulu. Thanks, Philip. Gerald, Ben.
Yep.
Awesome show.
You guys can go check out my channel too. I'm going to dump a bunch of videos right away on the ether and scalar and what it really is and how it actually
put your link there in the live chat, Gerald, before we sign off. And then everybody put your channel addresses there, and then
there's a presentation I'm gonna do. I posted the link in the chat, the private chat. Yeah. I'm gonna do a presentation next week about C++ superset with the best developers in the world, and you're welcome to check it out. It's the 27th.
The 27th.
Yeah.
And where is it? Like it's on YouTube or it's
gonna be online.
Yeah.
So
I got the link there.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'll check it out. Definitely. I'll record it or download it or
cool.
Whatever.
Well, I'll record it myself. I'm not sure if you need to register to attend, but if you do, I'll record it privately and I'll send it to you the day after.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Love to see it.
Cool.
Yeah, the way you guys man, you guys are all awesome on this team. Lulu, you're great. I love the questions. You're intelligent.
Yeah, she's smart.
Yeah. Sits in the corner all quiet and then comes up with a golden nugget. And it's like, blow my mind. Anyway, you guys, you're awesome, this whole team and everybody in the comment section. Make sure you come back next Friday. Don't know if I'll be here. I'm one of those guys, what sad.
You're like Batman.
Of course I can't get camera, but
like Batman.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a good show.
All right, guys, have a great night. Gerald, stay on, please. I got to talk to you, and we'll see everybody next week.
Gerald's Nation.
Yeah.